Amanda, straight ahead, sweetie. Amanda, on your right side.
Amanda, straight up, straight
Amanda, straight ahead, Amanda. Keep running. Amanda, straight ahead, please.
Amanda, look at that.
And Amanda, the front of the outfit this way, please. That smile.
Amanda, right
Amanda, nice smile.
And Amanda, big smile. Right
Top
here.
row, can I get a wave?
Amanda!
And just
Amanda, straight ahead.
Amanda, can we see the front?
I think it just brings me deeper into myself when I'm moving and vocalizing, not just singing. You know, just using my body to make sounds that I've never made, or at least haven't made on screen before in front of people. I think it's like it's just, you know, people dance to feel alive, to feel closer to themselves.
Amanda.
And Amanda, that big smile right here.
Amanda, left. Straight ahead, Amanda.
Amanda!
Amanda, having a wave.
Amanda, right here.
Right here, look this way, wave.
It's all happening right here.
Just connecting with dialogue and connecting as human beings, speaking to each other is one thing, and it's beautifully, it's profound and effective, beautifully effective, but it's also like to have another medium, another way of expressing yourself is just so, it's impossible not to enhance the experience that you're having on Earth, you know, connecting. And so it's like, you know, people sing to feel better, people dance to feel better, and it's just, and you feel closer to yourself. That's just what happens. So yeah, I don't know. I will always look for some kind of musical aspect to a character to express myself in that way, and I'm lucky enough with this specific story that this woman expressed herself, and her prayer was based in vocalizing and movement, and it's just like it couldn't have been a more important project for me as an artist, so as a human too, yeah.
Amanda!
No doubling.
And right here.
Amanda, look at this way.
It was gentle. The collaboration was gentle, and it was slow, and it was consistent, and I was able to be patient with myself in a way that I haven't in a long time. The whole process lacked judgment from anybody. We were all trying to make this crazy thing that seemed almost impossible.
Amanda, on your left.
Over the left shoulder, Amanda.
So it just felt like we were all on the same page. It was Mona was leading the ship for sure, but I know that, you know, as clear as her vision was, she also understood that it was going to be a challenge, and it was going to be a challenge for everyone involved. And she collected a group of people that were ready for that challenge and completely, you know, game to go as far as they needed to go in order to make it. And when you have that kind of equality, like Ann Lee strived for, you can do magical things. You can do a lot more when you're all on the same page and when you all believe in the task, or believe in the journey, I guess. And so, yeah, I had a lot of time. I mean, we all were working on other things, so we'd all come together in the most natural, organic ways to come back together, like to meet Dan. I would meet Daniel on FaceTime, and I would go into the studio and like sing some things, and he would work with that, and he would send me demos of things that he was working on, and everybody was sharing all this information all the time because we were excited about it, not because we had to, because we wanted to. And that also creates a really nice atmosphere. And then by the time you're on set, you have all you need. You just now get to bring it to life in a different way.
And Louis, the front of that suit, sir. Louis, just the
Straight
front of
ahead,
the suit.
straight ahead, straight ahead.
Louis, the front of the suit this way.
Louis, on the left.
It's all happening right here, Mr. Pullman.
I honestly was more intrigued with the project as a whole and getting the chance to work with Mona. When I met with her, I was ready to play any character, however small. And she was the one who kind of encouraged me, because I was like, I'm not a singer, I'm not a great dancer, I don't know how to do a Mancunian accent, and she was like, really kind of encouraged me and instilled me with a lot of confidence to play William. And then I felt like very similar to William. I have an older sister who's coming tonight who I like worship, and it was very easy to kind of just transfer that onto Amanda, who's just a miraculous person.
And Louis right here, sir, Mr. Pullman.
On your right side, left side. And Louis, straight ahead, Louis.
Well, I think what Mona was looking for was this very kind of pedestrian kind of sonic landscape, and so my kind of lack of experience as a singer was actually what she wanted to kind of build that quilt out. And aside from Amanda, obviously, who's an extraordinary musician. But my sister is a singer. My mother is a modern dancer. And so I was able to work with both of them in preparation for it before I went out to Budapest, which was really special. It was great, you know, to be able to do that with somebody who you know so well and you feel so comfortable with. Like my mom continually encouraging me to, like, you know, a lot of these performances don't work if there's no conviction, if there's no purpose behind it. You know, you have to find your own reasoning for why you are dancing. And so my mom was continually reminding me of that. And my sister similarly was like, as long as you are genuinely seeking something in song, then there will be something that transcends however skilled you are.
Celia, can I see Celia? This is the front facing.
I think there was a lot of meta elements. You know, it was very much a family-style operation. Everyone was there for the right reasons. It was a hard shoot. I keep, you know, doing these interviews and being reminded of certain like challenges, but I don't really, in my memory of this experience, see those. I really just remember being very close. It felt like a theater group or something, where it was like we were all just spending so much time together, whether it was doing dance rehearsals or going over to Daniel's house and recording some of the tracks or doing the dances together in between scenes. It was a creative dream.
Right here, look straight ahead. Straight ahead.
Thomasin right here, Miss
Thomasin!
McKenzie. Thomasin.
Thomasin for me.
And Thomasin, one more time.
Thomasin?
Thomasin right here.
And Miss McKenzie right here, please. Thomasin.
Thomasin, to your right, Thomasin.
Thomasin, just facing me this way, please.
I think the fact that it was like a female story that I had never heard of before. I mean, Anne Lee was an incredible leader and obviously had an impact on lots and lots of people, so I was really excited to be part of telling her story.
Please, Thomasin, looking up. And one more time, that smile, Thomasin.
Thomasin on your left.
Thomasin!
We did a lot of singing and dancing. That was the main preparation, and also, like, of course, looking into the history of the Shaker movement. But yeah, for me, it was mostly about spending time with the cast and crew and creating that like tight-knit group feeling.
Hi, baby.
You kind of get a very visceral response to the film, and I think the singing and dancing adds to that, and the physicality of it all. I mean, those sequences are pretty breathtaking.
Thomasin!
Obviously, we have a brilliant composer, Daniel. So like the rhythm of the film, of the music and of the dancing and of the singing, like I think really adds to the overall rhythm and structure of the film.
Ladies up top! Amanda, Thomasin.
And Amanda.
Ladies, can I get the front?
Ladies, wait there.
Amanda, together. Ladies.
Go, guys.
Amanda, Thomasin.
And then straight ahead again.
And Amanda Thomasin.
It's a lot of fun. We spend a lot of late nights together, drinking and laughing and dancing and singing. And
Amanda!
Phil.
Amanda, Thomasin.
Amanda, ladies, this way. Ladies, turn this way, ladies.
we felt like a family. I think that's what Mona really prioritizes on her sets, on her projects, is that family feeling, so that everyone feels held and included and supported. That was incredibly enjoyable.
And Tim over this way, sir. Tim looking up, sir.
Tim, how about a close up there?
Mona and Brady. And I didn't really even need to know what the part was. Mona and Brady, I wanted to work with them, and they had heard about that through the grapevine, and they asked me to play a part, and it really didn't matter what it was. Mona and Brady are consummate filmmakers. They're making movies for movie theaters. They're taking chances. They're pushing the medium forward. They're fearless, and they write beautiful scripts and film them gorgeously.
And straight ahead, Tim.
Tim, to the right.
Turn your body. Perfect. And
Tim on your left.
Mr. Nelson.
I crash coursed on the Shakers, and there was a peculiar dialect we were going for, and I crashed course on that and got there early and holed up in a hotel room and worked my tail off. Well, that was curious because I wasn't originally going to sing in the movie, but then I ended up singing in the movie, and I struck up a friendship with Daniel Blumberg, and so I probably spent as much time with Daniel recording background voices that then he used for the chorus in the movie as I did singing my own stuff and probably even acting in the movie. I was pretty much there every day. That's the other thing I'd like to say is that the real unexpected gift was getting to meet Amanda and play in scenes with her. She's one of the best actors on the planet.
Right side. Head down, head down.
And Mona right here, please. Mona, that smile. And Mona right here, please. Mona.
Mona!
And Mona, the front of the dress this way, Mona. Mona, the front of the dress.
So when I discovered the story of Anne Lee, as a real person, I realized that not a lot of people knew about her story. And the more I learned about Anne Lee, the more I realized that she was perhaps America's first feminist. And I thought, right now I'd like a story about a complex, powerful woman who fought for equality for others, told through song and dance.
And Mona right here, please, Mona. Chin down though, Mona, right here.
Mona right here on your left.
Mona, just those eyes.
Mona
Chin
right
down,
here.
chin down, please. Chin down.
Head down right here. Look to your left.
So it was the only way we could tell the story because the Shakers worship through ecstatic song and dance. So they sort of live their life like a musical, so it had to be a musical. But it's an unconventional musical. We're using the music in a very different way. So, yeah. Oh, well, so Amanda and I started rehearsing and practicing and working together a year before we started shooting. So we were, singing songs, recording in my bedroom and, talking around the kitchen table and doing dance practices and working on the dialogue way in advance. And a lot of the other cast members also joined really early on and were rehearsing and working for a long time leading up to our official prep. And then we dove into a really intense rehearsal period. And then, so when we were on set and actually shooting, it was actually a lot of levity, even though parts of the story is quite heavy because we were so well prepared that we could experiment and play once we got on set. I hope that the audience takes away the urge and the need that I feel to create, communities where you feel safe to create and safe to, be spiritual in whatever way you want to be spiritual. And I think that I hope it gives you a bit of warmth and inspiration and sort of helps you search for that communal grace that we all strive for.
Brady, straight ahead to your right, Brady. Straight ahead, Brady. Mrs. Corbet.
Well, Mona brought me all of her research about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I forget how long it's been. And said, I want to do a film on the founder of the Shakers. Mona and I, we write together, we direct separately, but we usually build independently a fairly strong foundation for something before we tackle it together and begin the writing process. So, this was really just me working in service of her vision for the film. Yeah, the Shakers worshiped through song and dance, so it became sort of a self-evident truth pretty early on that it should be a musical. I mean, there were so many musical sequences that at that point, I don't know, there became, a less and less clear delineation between the narrative and the songs. What's unusual about this musical is that it's not the lyric that's driving the narrative, but it's actually the gesture and the choreography. Because lyrically, the Shaker hymns, they're like, they're mantras. They're quite redundant in a way, which creates a, sort of hypnotic effect over the course of the movie. So, really what's advancing the film narratively is the choreography. I was really impressed by everyone. I think that especially nowadays, we're confronted, all of us, not just young performers, but we're all confronted with our own image all the time, whether it's on a FaceTime or Skype or whatever it is. So, like this sort of reckless abandon is not something that most people feel comfortable with nowadays, especially. And so it took a little while for everyone to kind of shake off the vanity. I was incredibly, impressed by, everyone's willingness to do so.
Thank you so much.
Lewis, eyes back left.
Can I get a wave, sir? And Lewis, looking back, sir.
I was very inspired by these improvising singers like Phil Minton, Maggie Nichols, and Shelley Hirsch, who I'd seen over the years. And I always go and see them when they play in London. And they ended up being a big part of the sound of the film. Maggie was in the film as well. And Shelley did workshops with Amanda. Also Freya Edmondes, who's a improvising singer closer to my age. Yeah, we work very closely from the script. First of all, getting stuff together for Celia for the choreography, and then getting the songs together to sing on in the film. Yeah, and then all the way through until the sound mix, actually. Yeah, all the instruments that I used, just trying to push them as far as possible. So like the bells started as little handbells, and then by the end of scoring we were using like huge church bells, and there's a scene with 60 handbells ringing at the same time. Well, it was always a big part of the film, the movement and the music, which was cool because I know Mona for years. Those are things that I know she's got a real language in. But yeah, doing a musical, because I'm a songwriter, I make song records, so it's quite exciting to sort of apply what I do to like a film.
Mona, eyes left.
Celia, straight ahead.
Right here for me.
Celia, straight ahead.
And right here, please. And one more time here.
Celia!
Basically, I really tracked Ann Lee's story throughout the film and used that as the basis of the choreography to really feel the trajectory of her life through movement. So started with the script, and then honestly went from there and wanted to make sure that I was showing something that felt like it could be sort of simple enough that it that it was worship, but then sort of big and exciting enough for like film that there was something a little other to it to make it exciting. And what was very important is that it never felt like professional or perfect or anything like that. And so I just had very specific sort of directives that I would give them inside of the movement so that they can make it their own. And so that then it allowed it to change for every actor that did the movement. So it's the same movement, but the quality is so different.
I saw already. It's the first thing I looked at.
Celia?
I think, she grew up in this moment in time where, and unfortunately it's not like much is that much different, but just in terms of growing up in a world that is not made for you, and there is so much that you need to say and express that you can't through words. And I even think of my becoming a dancer myself, like there was so much I wanted to say that I only felt like I could say it through movement. And I think when it comes to religious experience and something spiritual, like sometimes words are not enough, and it feels absolutely natural that like the expression of movement is the next step in that.
Can I get a wave up top? Sir.
Mona and I really wanted to stay away from traditional film look, and so we use references like Caravaggio. It really came from painting, Baroque, and some photography. A photographer named Bill Henson who had these ballerina photos, which was also like a modern Baroque. So that was really that was the main source. Well, the dance, Celia's choreography made us have to choose the aspect ratio even. So we ended up shooting a wide 2:3:5:1 aspect ratio because just to encompass all the dancing. We knew right away that the idea with the film was that the viewer was going to be an active participant, and it's sort of a hesitant participant at the beginning, but then would join in the dance. And so that really defined the whole style of the film. So, you see it, we have handheld work, a lot of, like 80% of the film is handheld because of that. Yeah, and so we wanted to watch so that we could show Celia's dance, but also then really truly become a participant and a believer, and with, so. Hunger and Thirst, it's a one-take, incredible piece. My operator, Sam Ellison, is just the most instinctual operator, and that just became magic. I think Amanda hypnotized him while that was happening, and it's just one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. So.
Oh, it's a difficult question. From one hand, I mean, just the story of Anne Lee. It's so inspiring, and to be a leader of this kind of community, to be such a strong woman in 18th century, and I love the script, and I love Mona, so. The approach was to just collaborate and make something special. Oh, it has a huge impact because most of the costumes were designed in the way to allow the dancers and actors to move, and there was a special cut on the sleeve, some special construction to make our trousers longer to cover the knee pads. Everything was designed for the comfortable, most of all. So this was the first thing. So besides this aesthetic, there was also another function of the costumes for the costumes. So honestly, it's totally different work. It's an epic film, so we need to start her journey from the beginning till the end, and we need to find some kind of, let's say, key costume. So we did those fittings, and finally we discovered the color palette, and which finally became the more blue to at the end prepare or build the Shaker's world as well. But honestly, we wanted her to feel good first of all. So I was really focused on her comfortable first of all, but it's a process. It's really hard to just choose what was the key thing, because the whole 18th century fashion was some kind already designed. So we just wanted to find our own way how to present her. So.
Sofia, take it away.
I would say it would be just following Mona's vision and just trying to make justice to all the amazing work that was made before me. Like, everyone does their best effort while the shooting, and then the torch is passed to me, and I have to make sure that like everything just falls into place. And I think it was a very like fun process to work with Mona on it.
Andrew, how about a thumbs up there?
Oh, so much. Imagine like just a musical, and it's when you read the script you can't really dimension what the music and the dance is going to do to the story. So it was just like an amazing surprise to start getting the footage and putting it together and seeing what it did to the emotional like trip of the character.
In brief, Mona Fastvold. Mona, told me I think my next film is going to be. I want to make something with the Shakers. I want to make something about Ann Lee. Maybe it's a musical. I don't know. And it was just an idea, and I said immediately yes. That was obviously exciting. And then she and Brady, we got commissioned to write it, and then they started researching it and us talking about it all the time, and then they wrote it, and it was even more exciting. So I think it felt like a radical way to tell this story. I mean, the Shakers were a musical people, so they worship through song and dance, and so it felt authentic to the story, but it also felt like a very radical way to tell a biopic, to tell an epic, because the way Mona is using music and dance is so unique and original, and that was what was exciting to me. I want to do things that are new, that are trying to push the boundaries of the form, that are trying to find, exciting ways to bring new, formal ideas to people in an era where that's harder and harder to do. So I was excited that she wanted to. What was most essential? I mean, we had an amazing cast and crew. Amanda Seyfried was incredible, and as soon as Mona mentioned that she thought she'd be right for it, I was like, that's definitely amazing. Amazing, crew. Our cinematographer, Will Rexer, our production designer, Sam Bader, Gosia, our costume designer, Celia. Her choreography was always central to this conversation. Daniel Blumberg's music. I mean, we knew from the very beginning that Daniel would be doing this, and they worked together so closely. So all of those things were essential to the mix of why this was exciting and what made it work. And then it was a question of, if we're going to tell an epic story about this woman, how do we give it the scope it requires? That was really hard. We needed money. We needed, we had to build a plan to shoot all over the world, and all those things were hard. But we had really great people, and so it was worth it.
And ladies, looking up right here. And ladies, right here together. Ladies, all three of you right here. One more looking straight here. And one more time.
And right here. And straight ahead, please. Straight ahead, Mona. Straight ahead.
Guys, this way.
Guys, everybody. Everybody.
Everybody, over to the end here, please.
Again, everyone, all those
Phil, move. Phil, move. Phil, move.
Everyone straight ahead, everyone.
Everyone to the beginning, please. Straight ahead, very beginning. Thank you.
And guys, everyone looking up here together. Those smiles, guys.
Right here, straight ahead.
And right here together.
Right here.
Thomasin.
Amanda.
Everybody right.
Thomasin, Amanda.
Lewis.
Guys, everyone looking this way. Ladies and gentlemen, right here.
And guys, looking up together here. Those smiles here.
And up to your right. On your left. Left side, Amanda. And up to the right.
Everyone right here.
And together here.
Here on your right.
And Natalie right here, Natalie.
Natalie, right side.
Natalie right here, please, Natalie.
Natalie on the right side. That shoulder, Natalie. Natalie, look at straight up there.
Natalie, if we turn you right this way, and right here with the names with the fingers. Guys, right here.
You I like. I like you.